Hi, my name is Ron Martiello, and this is the 2-minute drill overtime. I am interviewing awesome people from my personalized learning network who do great things out there. And today we are talking to Kendy Shiffert, who is doing great things with engaging our 21st century families. Hi, Kendy.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Kendy, we met at the KTI conference at the Lehigh Carbon County IU.
Yep. Keystone Technology Innovators. Yep.
That's awesome. And you presented a wonderful presentation with Robin Healy.
My colleague Robin Healy. Yep.
And you both did a wonderful job on how to engage families, how they prefer to be engaged here in the 21st century. So again, we're 18 years in the 21st century, but you're doing a great job. Tell us a little bit about how engaging families has changed from that traditional model that we used to know to what parents are expecting now.
That's a really good question. I think even looking back 12 years that I've been teaching, when I started in kindergarten, we were using report cards, 2 conferences a year. If you were lucky, newsletters. The technology wasn't really super strong in our schools yet. But since then, now that, we have so many devices and, the parents are connected to their devices too, I can really leverage a lot of those things in my own classroom. I know I use an app. I use Class Dojo. Some people like Seesaw. There's other ones out there too. So I use Twitter and Facebook. And then I really love to use at other things like Google Meet or screencasting with my parents too. And the nice thing about these things is it's more immediate. You can do it on the daily, and it really keeps that connection flowing between you and the families.
And let's talk about that connection, because it's more than just connecting. And you've talked about that. It's about that building of a relationship with your families and the benefits that come with that. What are some ways that you build relationships now with technology and engaging your families?
So I share out almost every single day on Class Dojo, and that I've done for many years. I think that's kind of like a basic at this point. Some different things that I've tried, especially over the past year, was I've started doing screencasting for the parents. So for example, when something, kind of big happens, like their kid shoves someone on the playground, I used to just send them an email or send them a message and say, oh, hey, Johnny shoved someone on the playground. This is the outcome of it. This is what we're going to do about it. And then the conversation kind of stopped there. So what I've been doing instead is I've been recording a screencast and sending that to parents. That way they can see me. They can hear my voice. They can see my tone. They can see my body language. And it kind of goes from a Johnny shoved someone on the playground to, hey, just so you know, Johnny shoved someone on the playground. We had a conversation, and it becomes more of a back and forth and something we're going to work on together, rather than me just being like, hey, here's the problem. I'm plopping it on you now. And parents have responded really nicely.
You took us through that exercise at the KTI conference. You showed us the written communication, and then you also showed us the screen casting that you did for that parent, and it was totally different. The perception that I received was totally different, and it's such a great strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried everything. I've tried popping emojis in there. I've tried exclamation points and parentheses, and nothing really conveys it the same way as seeing the person. And the screencasting came about from my attempts to use Google Meets with parents, because I wanted to see them in person, and maybe they weren't available to come to school. So I would try to set up a Google Meet, and some were available for that, but some were busy. They were at work. And so if I record the screencast and I send it to them, it's available on their time when they're ready for it, instead of me surprising them at work or just not being available. So that it has worked out really nicely. And I've gotten really great feedback and appreciation from parents on that.
That's awesome. And it's awesome that you seek that feedback as well. As far as utilizing your personalized learning network, how are you utilizing your personalized learning network, or your PLN, to grow and to gain more strategies on engaging parents?
Yeah, so I started using Twitter for my PLN like 2 or 3 years ago. And at first I wasn't super into it. It felt like something else that was just going to like eat up my time. But once I got into it, I was seeing amazing resources. I started by adding some of my favorite authors in, like, for example, this summer I'm doing a parent book club on the book Screenwise by Deborah Heitner. And I added her on, and she sent me like all kinds of resources to help me with my parent book club, which I thought was really cool. So I started just kind of like dabbling with different authors. Thomas Murray, who we saw at KTI, amazing. I've added him, and we've had conversations about his book. So I've loved kind of learning from experts on Twitter, which is great.
And that's so cool when you can actually talk to the author. And I mean, we go to trainings and we hear things from trainers second and third hand, but when you're hearing it right from the person who wrote the book, that's exciting.
Yes, yes. And the other thing that I love about my PLN is, you know, I found people who are using same tools that I am, like, for example, Flipgrid. But they're using them in different ways than I am. I've used Flipgrid for a couple years now with my students to get, you know, video from them. And I saw somebody was using it to collect videos from parents. And I was like, that's so cool. So at the end of the school year, I sent out a link to the parents, and they recorded end of year praise messages for the children and talking about how they've seen their child grow this year and what they're going to do that summer and what they're excited for to grow over the summer. And I showed them to the kids in the classroom, and the parents loved it. The kids love it. The parents were like, wow, like, she's going to show something I made in class. Like, she cares about, you know, what I think. And, you know, that's the other thing that I forgot to mention. You know, when you build relationships with your families and you get to know them, you not only make a greater impact on students' lives, but also, and this is going to sound kind of funny, but like, if you mess up, you get a little bit of leeway, you know, like they see day in and day out all the amazing things that I try to do in my classroom. So if I have a slip out, they don't get angry. Like, it's like, oh, hey, you know, what's going on here? They're more likely to reach out to me and try to have a conversation than just react to everything. So
that's awesome, because that goes to, you know, Stephen Covey talking about the emotional bank account. Like, you have to make a lot of deposits on people's emotional bank account before you can make a withdrawal. When you're going to need to make a withdrawal, you're going to make a mistake, just as you described.
Yeah. So, but yeah, sorry, going back to the PLN. I love my PLN because it really pushes me to think. I'm a very black and white thinker. So it pushes me to think outside of the box on some of what I'm already doing and applying some new strategies to the tools I'm already using in my classroom. So it's been really awesome.
That's great. So first of all, I'm stealing from you the parent book club idea. And second, I'm checking off the Flipgrid, parents doing the Flipgrid to give feedback and to encourage students and send messages. Stealing both of those ideas from you.
I'll send you some book recommendations for your book club too.
That's awesome. Well, Kendy, how can we get in contact with you if you wanted to explore these ideas a little further with you?
My Twitter handle is @Kschiffert, KSCHIFFERT. And my email is simply kendyschiffert@gmail. And I love connecting with new people and learning from each other. So feel free to reach out to anybody. I'd love to hear from you.
That's awesome. And that's why you're part of my PLN, and I appreciate having you. I want to thank everyone for joining us on for this webisode. If you'd like to subscribe, please feel free to subscribe to our website and our YouTube channel here, the 2-Minute Drill. But also, if you want to see another interview with Angela Barnett talking about global connections in global classrooms, please feel free to click up here. So again, Kendy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, everybody.